You're listening to In the Pod, Soybean Updates, a weekly trek into the latest soybean information from NDSU Extension. Every growing season has its ups and downs. How did the soybean season measure up in Minnesota? Here with a report is Sergio Cabello-Leiva, Director of Research for the Minnesota Soybean Research and Promotional Council. Sergio, tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you, Bruce. I'm a soil scientist from Chile, graduate from NDSU, and I have lived actually and worked in North Dakota for 7 years, including 8 full growing seasons with the local cropping system.
What went well with Minnesota soybeans this year?
What stood out the most this year was how resilient soybean crop was across Minnesota. Even though we harvest a little fewer acres than last year, the crop performed really well. Our statewide yield increased to around 51 bushels per acre. If you think about it, that's more than 13% higher than last season. As a result, our total production rose to more than 361 million bushels. So those numbers reflect what I saw in the countryside this year.
And on the flip side, what types of issues did the farmers have?
Well, it is important to consider the role of rainfall. Like between mid-May and mid-August, many regions received 2 and 6 inches more rain than average. That extra moisture helped plants to grow fast and fill pots very well. But there is no season that is perfect, right? The biggest concern was the first confirmed case of red crown rot in Minnesota. This disease is a soil-borne fungus, and in highly infected fields, you can decrease yield by 40 and 80%. As a farming community, we have to pay attention to this disease, and more information and research are coming soon. We also saw sudden death syndrome in wetter fields and iron deficiency chlorosis in high pH soils. And of course, our main disease, soybean cyst nematode. Even when field looks healthy, soybean cyst nematode can still cause loss of 10 or 30% in our yields. Soybean variety and selection of soil testing soybean cyst nematode egg count are crucial to face this disease. I always tell farmers, problems are local. 2 fields just miles apart can have completely different disease or pest pressures. That is why scouting, knowing your farm through soil and plant analysis, consulting with ag professionals and also neighbors, and making informed decisions are essential in all cropping systems.
What type of research does the council support?
That's exactly where the Minnesota Soybean Research and Promotion Council focuses its efforts. Right now, the council is supporting 20 field research projects across the state. These projects focuses in agronomy, breeding, and integrated pest management. Our goal is to advance soybean production not only in yield, but also quality, profitability, and long-term sustainability.
Sergio, what do you tell soybean farmers when they ask, how do we improve?
Revise and understand your own field history. If you have soybean cyst nematode, test again. If your soil have high pH, watch out for iron deficiency chlorosis. If you observe sudden death syndrome or red crown rot this year, mark those areas and consider variety selection and rotation carefully, and also contact your ag professional. On the research side, we are expanding studies on red crown rot to understand how it behaves in Minnesota conditions. We are also screening varieties for tolerance to sudden death syndrome and iron deficiency chlorosis, and studying new management strategies for soybean cyst nematode. Other projects are focused in precision agriculture, nutrient management, and more, all helping farmers to use data to make better decisions. And we currently publish our statewide research report called From Seed to Solutions. Includes agronomy, pest management, and breeding research supported by the Soybean Checkoff. I invite farmers that can access this report through mnsoybean.org.
Any final thoughts?
The Minnesota Soybean Research and Promotion Council is always willing to collaborate, help, and learn together. If you have ideas, concerns, or something new happening in your fields, please reach out. Together, we can keep soybean farming strong, profitable, and ready to the future.
Thanks, Sergio. Our guest has been Sergio Cabello-Leiva, Director of Research for the Minnesota Soybean Research and Promotional Council. You're listening to In the Pod, Soybean Updates, a weekly trek into the latest soybean information from NDSU Extension, supported by the North Dakota Soybean Council.